Week 3 of evaluating certifications for data science, machine learning, AI. Looking at Google Cloud Professional Machine Learning Engineer, I am going to be going through the first milestones as well as more problems that I encountered. Let's get started. Welcome back to Saravji's Hut. In week 3, evaluating certifications for data science, machine learning, AI, going through the Google Cloud Professional Machine Learning Engineer learning path, I encountered some more problems as well as achieving the first milestones. Let's dive in. Let's start with the first milestones. I completed the first course, which was after I got figured out the problems with the labs, relatively smooth sailing. The times that are allotted for completing the labs generally are pretty generous, so it is possible to actually do the labs in much less time than what is allotted. So about a third to half of the time is sufficient. The other milestone is that I could get my first skills badge from Google Cloud. In order to get this badge, several labs need to be completed. I'll go a little bit more into details in these labs in just a moment. I ran into some more problems with the platform. I again need to stress that this is not the Google Cloud platform, but actually the Quick Labs platform that Google uses for administering these trainings and the labs. On this platform, this is where I ran into problems. Most of the labs are pretty straightforward and no problem at all. Some of the labs really are annoying. I had one larger lab, one longer lab, and it is scheduled at about 1.5 hours that I needed to actually do 4 times in order to complete it. The customer service folks actually have a workaround email already prepared for this lab, so there is a workaround available and that they can pull out to actually make it possible that you can finish this lab at all. So this is not a very pleasant experience, especially because you can't basically budget the time that you actually need. So you're going into a 1.5 hour lab, and after 60 minutes, 70 minutes, you actually see, okay, I can't complete that. You need to go on to chat with customer service reps. Those folks then can prolong the time that you have so that the timer is not running out on you, send you the email that you actually can have the workaround, and then basically on that according step that you're at, you are restarting the whole thing again. And so it's this lab that I'm talking about has actually 4 parts in it, and I needed to I finally could get parts 1 and 2 figured out, and then I had to go back and part 4 and go back onto the customer service chat and get that email to actually have the workaround then in place that I could finish the lab. But with that, although the lab is budgeted at 1.5 hours, if you take 1.5 hours time, you might not be able to actually complete the lab in those 1.5 hours because you're running into those problems, and you actually have then to partially start over and finish the lab outside of the time. In general terms about these labs, I don't think that they are the best educational tools, how they're actually being used. Most labs come with very detailed step-by-step instructions, even showing screenshots where to click and so on. And because of that, the learning effect is very minimal throughout these labs. You're basically in a robotic manner clicking and doing what you're told to do in very specific, detailed descriptions. And because of that, there is not that much learning effect actually going through the motions of the lab. The code that is in some of the labs that you actually have to run is pretty significant code in there, and you don't have the time even to read the code with the time allotted in the lab. So some of the labs, I would estimate, if you would be needing to put those labs together completely yourself, it's at least 2 days full time that you actually would need to invest in putting these labs together, putting that code together, and you're literally rushing through it in 40 minutes. So there is no time to even read and understand and follow the code that is actually in the labs. So the educational effect of these labs that you actually have is very minimal. Mainly what you get out of these labs is how to do something on the platform on Google Cloud, but not with any background information, with any substance to it, or in any way that you actually could accomplish this task completely on your own. So because of that, at this time, I'm still giving the benefit of the doubt. It's still early in this journey down to this Google Cloud Machine Learning Engineer. So let's see what else comes along the way. So I put it down as this is just the introduction to get an idea what we're talking about. So let's see what comes further down the road. This concludes week 3 of Getting Started with Data Science, Machine Learning, and AI, exploring the Google Cloud Professional Machine Learning Engineering certification. See you back next week with what my experience up till then is. I appreciate you dropping by. Please subscribe. I'm done here. Fire to that.